The central government appoints new culture and transport secretaries. Hundreds are trapped after giant Ferris wheel stops on the harbor front. Political crisis continues in South Korea following martial law. Hello and welcome to TVB News. The State Council has removed Transport Minister Lam Sai-hung and Tourism Minister Kevin Young from their positions, replacing them with Mabel Chan, former Permanent Secretary for Transport and Logistics, and Rosanna Law, formerly Director of Housing. Chief Executive John Lee said the two newly appointed secretaries can help him realize his goals. Celine Chan reports.
Chief Executive John Lee met the media with the two newly appointed policy secretaries this morning. The State Council's decision to reshuffle the cabinet was made in line with the HKSAR Basic Law and based on the nomination and suggestion of CE John Lee. Lam Sai-hung was removed from his position as the Secretary for Transport and Logistics and was replaced by former Permanent Secretary for Transport and Logistics Mabel Chan. Rosanna Law, formerly Director of Housing, was appointed Secretary for Culture, Sports and Tourism, replacing Kevin Young.
I really think that they have contributing the best, make their best efforts for Hong Kong. So I thank them sincerely, and I hope that they will have a good life, happy life after their departure.
The chief executive earlier said he was satisfied with all ministers. So was Lee dissatisfied with the outgoing minister's work?
I have made my decision through a period of observation and judge what I want to do in the years to come and assess what will make my governance even more effective and fulfilling. I want to create the best result in the shortest period of time for Hong Kong because we have lost time during COVID. We have lost time because of 2019 riots and black violence. So I have said many times, I want to recover the time. I want to chase back the results and time. And I see the strengths of the two newly appointed secretaries. They will be assisting me more to realize my goal of ensuring result.
Although the cabinet shuffle took place in the middle of his term, the city leader is confident that the team can still make progress in the remaining 2.5 years.
And we have actually made progress in a lot of areas. So 2.5 years is a long time. And I do think that we can make the best use of this period to create the best result and most result for the people of Hong Kong.
There are currently 15 policy bureaus in the government. After today's new appointments, the number of female policy secretaries has increased to 7, almost half of all ministers. Celine Chan, TVB News.
The new Secretary for Transport and Logistics, Mabel Chan, says she's confident she can bring fresh impetus to the Bureau and push forward transport policies. Mimo Singhai reports.
In a press conference on Thursday morning, the newly appointed Secretary for Transport and Logistics, Mabel Chan, said the railway system is a major part of the city's infrastructure, and the government has started work on multiple projects, including Tung Chung East Extension and Tuen Mun South Extension. Chan added her team will take a more proactive approach to promote Hong Kong as an international aviation hub.
In the coming 2 years, we will expand our aviation network. We will make better planning, more strategically to work and discuss in relation to airspace rights.
Chan also said the Bureau will actively develop a smart transit network and enhance the safety of residents who use public transport. On the fare adjustment applications of 3 bus companies, the new transport chief said authorities understood the need to strike a balance between the public and the operators.
We have to bear in mind that it should be affordable to the public. We handle the issues very carefully. At the same time, we are aware that financial sustainability is very important for these operators as well.
Chan joined the administrative service in July 1989 and served in multiple positions, including the Deputy Secretary for Financial Services and the Treasury from 2016 to 2017. She became the Permanent Secretary for Transport and Housing in July 2022. On Wednesday, former Secretary for Transport and Logistics Lam Sai-hung still attended a Legislative Council meeting. Lam joined the government in 1983, having faced several controversies during his term as transport chief. In September last year, a large number of travelers were stranded at the airport after Typhoon Kornil hit Hong Kong. Another issue was Lam's budget for the Sha Tin T4 trunk road project, which was higher than the original estimate. Despite the project being eventually passed at LegCo, it garnered 3 against votes and 12 abstentions. In statement, Lam said his time serving in the government has been the greatest honor of his life. Members 9, TVB News.
The newly appointed tourism chief, Rosanna Law, said she will be well prepared for the opening of the Kai Tak Sports Park, as well as the 15th National Games set to be held next year. Celine Chan reports.
Before taking up her position as Secretary for Culture, Sports and Tourism, Rosanna Law served as Commissioner for Transport and Director of Housing. She says she could feel the responsibilities weigh on her shoulders and will fully support the Chief Executive's work. She added that Culture, Sports and Tourism is a good platform by which to tell Hong Kong's story.
I'm most grateful to the central government for the recently announced supporting measures for Hong Kong, including the new pair of adorable new pandas and the resumption of the multiple entry policy for Shenzhen residents. Opportunities are everywhere. And so my priority would be to learn the latest development of my bureau's work and then to meet old friends, make new friends, have candid, useful, constructive discussions with all stakeholders with a view of bringing culture, sports and tourism to new heights.
On services,
the 56-year-old joined the government in 1989 and took up positions including the Deputy Commissioner for Tourism and Deputy Secretary for Constitutional and Mainland Affairs. She was later appointed Commissioner of Transport and was involved in issues such as traffic rationalization involving the 3 road harbour crossings, as well as the HKE toll system. Last August, Law joined the Housing Bureau to tackle housing problems alongside Housing Secretary Winnie Ho. The now former tourism chief Kevin Young attended the opening ceremony of the Hong Kong Sports Institute's new facilities building with CE John Lee yesterday. He took the helm of the newly established Culture, Sports and Tourism Bureau after working as the education chief. Young held many mega events since he took office, but was involved in various controversies during his tenure, with the most significant being football superstar Lionel Messi's absence from a friendly fixture for which the government sponsored millions of dollars. His performance handling the lack of facilities in the Kai Tak cruise terminal was also denounced by lawmakers and public. Posting on social media today, Young expressed his gratitude to the public for their support and said he's ready to move on to the next phase of his life stage. Celine Chan, TVB News.
Commenting on the reshuffle, veteran political commentator Lau Siu Kai said the changes can help stimulate Hong Kong's economy in the short run. Mimo Singai reports.
Cabinet reshuffles have taken place in the past. Veteran political commentator Lau Siu Kai, a consultant of the Chinese Association of Hong Kong and Macau Studies, said the replacement of the 2 policy secretaries is not a sudden move. He said the decisions behind the new appointments is related to the need to stimulate the SAR's economic growth, of which the Culture, Sports and Tourism Bureau and the Transport and Logistics Bureau both play an important role.
In the long run, we have to depend on the new industries. But the industry in Hong Kong is still in the beginning stage, so they cannot contribute too much to Hong Kong's GDP. In order to give short-term stimulation to Hong Kong economy, we have to depend on sports, tourism, related industries, as well as transportation and communication.
Lau said the appointments were announced at an appropriate time.
If the reshuffle is done too early, that will throw a poor light on the Chile Shenzhen, because people will suspect that he has made some poor choices. If the reshuffle is take place too late, that means the new ministers will have no time to prove themselves.
Meanwhile, lawmaker Regina Ip welcomed the changes. She said the two secretaries have major responsibilities.
I think it is appropriate for the government at this point in time to put in new blood and officers who have, through their past performance, shown their ability to take on higher responsibilities.
9 TVB News.
The Hong Kong observation wheel in Central malfunctioned after experiencing a power outage in the afternoon. Police said more than 200 people were trapped. Power was restored around 6 p.m. and no one was injured. Police received calls around 5:15 p.m. saying the observation wheel in Central suffered a power outage. People were escorted safely back to the ground. Some social media users reported firefighters arriving at the scene within 5 minutes. The wheel is around 60 meters tall and has been in use for a decade. It has a total of 42 gondolas, each with a maximum capacity of 8 people. And the fallout from South Korea's short-lived martial law continues. President Yoon Suk-yeol has replaced his defense minister as opposition parties moved to impeach both men over the stunning Tuesday night declaration that brought armed troops into Seoul streets. The opposition Democratic Party and other small rival parties submitted a joint motion to impeach Yoon. Nazvi Karim has more.
They were quick to enforce martial law, quick to leave when it was lifted, and quick to apologize. The South Korean Defense Ministry held a press conference in Seoul to apologize to citizens for causing concern. Spokesperson Jeon Ha-gyu said the military will return to performing its main duties, which is to protect national security and people's lives. On Tuesday night, South Korean soldiers broke down the door of the National Assembly building. This won't happen again, according to a vow by Kim Min-ki, the National Assembly Secretary General. The act of trampling the National Assembly by mobilizing military forces hurt our citizens' heart, Kim said, adding that the Secretariat has banned all defense officials and police from entering the building from now on.
저는 어제 밤 11시를 기해
President Yoon Suk-yeol declared martial law on Tuesday night, blaming the opposition for anti-state and pro-North Korean activities. 6 hours later, he lifted the declaration, but not before causing chaos and putting his political future in jeopardy. He is now the center of an impeachment procedure. Earlier on Thursday, a motion to impeach Yoon was reported to the 300-strong South Korean parliament. 191 lawmakers submitted the motion, which by law must be put to a vote between 24 and 72 hours after it is reported to the plenary session. Yoon's ruling People Power Party has vowed to block the impeachment, saying it would cause the country chaos. A motion was also reported to impeach Kim Yong-hyun, the defense minister who reportedly was the key figure behind the martial law declaration. Yoon has since sacked Kim and replaced him with Choi Byung-hook, a retired four-star general who served as South Korea's ambassador to Saudi Arabia. Nazvi Karim, TVB News.
Still ahead, Spring Festival, or Chinese New Year, is now on UNESCO's Cultural Heritage List. In Shenzhen, workers are missing after a large piece of land caved in. Georgian police have raided the offices of the opposition party and arrested its leader in the hope of ending mass protests in the country. But people still took to the streets over the government's decision to suspend negotiations on joining the European Union. More than 300 protesters have been detained since last week. The ruling Georgian Dream Party retained control of parliament in the disputed October 26th election, widely seen as a referendum on Georgia's EU aspirations. The opposition and the pro-Western president have accused the governing party of rigging the vote with neighboring Russia's help, something the government and Kremlin deny. China's Spring Festival, Japanese sake, and Thai tom yum have been added to UNESCO's list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity. The Spring Festival is a traditional celebration of the Chinese New Year. It was inscribed to the list at the 19th session of the Intergovernmental Committee held in Paraguay. With this addition, China now holds the record for the most items on UNESCO's list of intangible cultural heritage in the world, with 44 in total. Beijing's foreign ministry said the Spring Festival is the oldest and most significant traditional holiday in Chinese culture. 13 workers are missing after a piece of land caved in at a high-speed rail construction site in Shenzhen's Bao'an district. The collapse happened at a construction site on the 5th section of the Shenzhen Railway at around 11 p.m. yesterday. Local authorities have sent nearly 200 people to assist in rescue efforts. Nearby residents and workers were also evacuated from their houses and factories following the incident. Local police have blocked off streets up to 500 meters away from the scene. State media reports an investigation into the collapse is in progress. In Macau, apartments for the elderly were officially put into operation this October. Over 1,500 applications have been received so far. Tenants of 759 units can enjoy an 80% discount in the first phase, with monthly rent starting from 4,300 Macau patakas. Some elderly tenants said the apartments provide adequate entertainment equipment, but they expect to see a reduction in rents. Danny Zhou has the story.
The Cantonese opera room and karaoke room are featured in the clubhouse of apartments for senior residents. Tenants can enjoy authentic delicacies at the Cha-Chan-Teng and Chinese-style restaurants here without leaving their homes. The facility also has a gym and other amenities that charge $10 to $25 an hour. 1,815 units were put into operation by authorities in October for Macau's permanent residents aged 65 or above to meet the pressing demand for housing. Tenants of the initial 759 units can enjoy a rental discount of 80% for 3 years after first signing the lease agreement, bringing the minimum rent down to $4,328. Many hailed the apartments as well equipped with lifts and various fitness facilities for them to play table tennis and work out. Yet, as this tenant points out, it is difficult to say whether the fees are reasonable, because there are always elderly people who think authorities could charge less. The authorities have received more than 1,500 applications so far, and over 900 households have already selected their units. Officials said they will keep on overseeing operational effectiveness. The chief of Macau's Social Welfare Bureau said they will adopt a commercial mode to carry out the work with property management firms. Authorities will take the current feedback and suggestions into account when preparing for the next project. Danny Zhou, TVB News.
That's the news. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.